Hello, thank you for joining us for our alumni webinar series. I'm Dr. Hamid Reza Bagheri, lecturer in computer science in the School of Science, Technology and Health. I've been asked to host this webinar as part of our alumni series at York St. John University called Alumni Journeys, Creativity, Careers, and Community. Before I introduce today's speaker, there are a few housekeeping matters I would like to share with you. First, we will be hosting a Q&A at the end of the talk. The questions have been prepared in advance, but if you have any questions you would like to ask the speakers, please email your questions to alumni@yorksg.ac.uk, and the team will pass on your questions to the speaker. There is also an auto transcript appearing during the talk for increased accessibility. However, please be aware it may not translate perfectly. Thank you. Now, I would like to introduce today's speaker, our PG student, Melissa Hoggarth. Melissa is a security analyst and PhD student researching cybersecurity awareness. Melissa completed her undergraduate degree in computer science in 2020, her master's degree by research in computer science in 2022, and is currently working on her PhD work with our team at York St. John University. Melissa has experience as a data and information officer, tutor in cybersecurity, as a junior security analyst, as well as her career in cybersecurity. Melissa was a research assistant during her undergraduate degree and visiting lecturer at York St. John University, working with us at Department of Computer Science during her postgraduate degree. So now I would like to pass you over to Melissa, and I look forward to chatting after that. Melissa?
Yeah. Cool. That's great. Thank you, Hamid. Yeah, so hello everyone. I'm going to be sharing with you today my journey really of computer science, getting into computer science, getting into cybersecurity, where it started and where I am now with it. So I'm going to take you on a bit of a journey from the beginning, really. So where did all of my love for tech really stem from? Well, I have loved technology ever since I was little, ever since I was a little girl. My dad used to get me onto the computer, which looked very different to today's computers. And I would be sat there, my feet couldn't even touch the floor. And I would just be playing on paint, drawing, doodles. But I really feel like that is where my love for technology really stemmed from. I've just always been fascinated with technology. Growing up, my favorite toys were Tamagotchis, which I do collect now as well. I love Tamagotchis. Yeah, I have always been really into technology. And so I didn't really have the option to study anything techie in school. We had IT, but there wasn't computer science GCSE or anything like that. But luckily, when I went to my college, which was a sixth form, I saw that there was a computer science A-level there. And so that was a very natural choice for me. And I really loved the fact that I got to learn more about technology, kind of how it actually works, how things like networking works, do some programming as well, starting to learn different languages, and yeah, just starting to dabble really into learning tech. And I was pretty dead set at this point that I was going to be wanting to study it at university level. And so the next question was really, what university do I study at? Um, I didn't really have a particular preference. When I was like looking, I was just very open-minded to all of the different universities across the country, and I went to lots of different open days, um, traveling right up north, some in the Midlands, some a bit more down south. Um, yeah, I was really open to all of them, just trying to take in the open days, take in the atmosphere, take in what the lecturers are like, take in what the class sizes are like. Um, and my favorite, which was obviously my choice, was York St. John. I'd not actually heard about York St. John until I started really investigating like universities. It wasn't one of the ones that like initially popped up. And so I was a bit skeptical at first. But I thought I'll go along to an open day and I'll see what it's like. I'll just take in the atmosphere. And I absolutely loved it. The thing that I remember most vividly about the open day is I was by myself and I was stood on the road opposite York St. John, and I was like, Google Maps is telling me that I'm here right now. Where is the university? Because I'm literally in the centre of York. And then I looked across and then I saw the sign for York St. John, and I was just so shocked that the university is right in the centre. Because lots of the other universities that I'd been to, the universities were kind of on the outskirts of the cities or of the towns. And so it was a shock that, if I studied here, I would literally be in the centre of York. It was a great location. And then having gone kind of into the classes, I remember actually meeting a student ambassador because I didn't know what classroom I was supposed to be in for the computer science talk. And she was incredibly friendly. And all of the student ambassadors just seemed very happy to be at the university. And that's something that really stuck with me. Was everyone's like positivity. I really felt welcomed from the second that I stepped on campus. I was by myself because I was quite far away from home, and I was quite nervous, but I just immediately felt very welcomed. I went into the computer science talk, and I met one of the lecturers there at the time, Justin, and he one of the things that he said that stuck with me is, we might not be in the highest rankings, but that's as a result of, we're a lot smaller university. So we just don't have the numbers. And another thing that that stuck with me that he said was the fact that he's taught at bigger universities. And at bigger universities, you really are just a number. Whereas at York St. John, the lecturers actually get to know everyone on a, you know, personal name to name basis. So you know your lecturer's name and they know you. And I thought that was really nice because it was quite jarring going to some of the other universities and sitting in massive lecture halls. And they say, these will be absolutely full on a Monday morning. And you never really get to have that interaction with the lecturer. So that's when I was pretty dead set on the fact that York St. John would be my first choice. And um, and it was, and I ended up at York St. John, and I had a really, really great time during my undergraduate degree. My first year, I lived in city residence, which was just up the road from the university. It's like a 10-minute walk. And I thought it was fantastic. I literally got to pretty much live in the centre of York, which is not something like I don't know if I'll ever be able to say that again. It was really quite an experience. And for that, I'm really, really grateful. Um, so I guess now computer science is what I studied. So how did that develop into cybersecurity? Well, um, for me, during my undergraduate degree, I didn't really know what I wanted to do as a career afterwards, after university. I just didn't know. I didn't even know if I was going to do a master's, PhD, anything like that. I was just quite open-minded. So I'm going to take it all in and see what I enjoy the most. Um, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to work on a student as researcher project, which is something that the university offers. And you get to work alongside lecturers on some of their research. And the one that I worked on was very much around cybersecurity. And this really opened up my mind to, if I was to work in cybersecurity, this is potentially what I could be working on, like, in this area. I just found it so fascinating. And you know you enjoy something when it doesn't feel like work. Um, it's just something you are so excited to be working on. And yeah, just it doesn't feel like work because you enjoy it. Um, and so this led on to my dissertation in my third year of my undergraduate degree. And I studied, well, for my topic, I chose the level of cybersecurity awareness of elderly people over retirement age in the UK. And unfortunately, a few months after, well, just as I was coming up to the data collection, lockdown started. And so we had this grand plan of going to care homes, going to groups and, trying to get some data for our surveys. And unfortunately, I was not able to collect any data. However, I tested the method instead, and it was still really, really fun to work on. I got to It really opened up my mind to cybersecurity research, specifically around people, because I found that I loved the bridge between technology and people. Um, and so cybersecurity awareness was just perfect for me. And that really is where my love for cybersecurity awareness developed. And so the natural progression from my dissertation was to do a master's by research. And there was no other place really on my list, other than York St. John, kind of continuing on. Um, I was very familiar with my lecturers, my research team, and it's just something that naturally progressed. So, for my master's by research, I researched the level of cybersecurity awareness of 16 to 18-year-olds in the UK. Again, we were still kind of going through lockdowns at this time. It's all a bit blurry, isn't it? But so I wasn't able to do like in-person data collection. However, I made use of what I had, and I did a lot of online data collection. And I managed to get over 700 responses, which I was incredibly excited about. And um, the results of that showed that the level of awareness was good, but lots of different areas to be improved on. So throughout doing my master's by research, I hit a few different hurdles. Lockdown definitely hindered my progress with my research. There was several different issues. I had to change up my research topic as well because it wasn't really appropriate for the time I was originally aiming to research 10 to 13-year-olds by going into schools. And again, I didn't have any success with that as a result of the issues at that time. Um, and so this kind of extended my master's by research. And I eventually ended up going down part-time, and doing some other work alongside that, which actually benefited me a lot in the long run when I think back. Um, I worked remotely for a charity, um, and I was data and information officer. And this really opened up my mind to working in the third sector and working remotely as well, because I was working fully remotely, and I got to dabble with all sorts, including Power BI, and doing a lot of data work. And I realized that I really do enjoy data, and I'd learned a lot of skills through my research. You do obviously a lot of data analysis with your collected results. So yeah, that was really handy to have. And I also did some lecturing work as well. Um, at a couple of the universities, and including York St John. I was a visiting lecturer teaching professional practice, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It was really nice to have the opportunity to kind of be on the other side and do some lecturing. So yeah, really did enjoy that. So finished my master's by research, and one of the difficulties that I faced is that it was quite challenging after my undergraduate degree. I felt very lost in terms of knowing exactly what I want to do. I knew I wanted to do my master's by research, but no one really prepares you for how scary it is to graduate. And you've had such a structured life. Like for me, I know some people like go back to university, then everyone's experiences are different, but mine was very linear in the fact that I'd been to school, college, I'd done university. I didn't have a gap year or anything. It was very much linear. Then did my master's degree, and then it's like you get to the end of the diving board and you're like you have to jump off, and where do you go? And it's very, very scary, and I was not prepared for it. And I've spoken to quite a few other graduates, and it seems to be a common issue. It can be quite scary. Um, so yeah, it's like, what do you do next? I knew though that I wanted to do cybersecurity. Um, so yeah, I did my master's degree. I thought, I've got a load of different experience. I did loads of different things throughout my undergraduate degree. I was a social media ambassador, student ambassador, worked on several different research projects. Um, I had a lot of experience. I'd built up networks. I'd gone to different events all over York, such as Women in Tech. That's a great one every month. I'd done York Code Dojo. I'd connected with people. Um, and then I was like, right, I'm going to start applying for jobs in cybersecurity. And one thing I will say is it's a lot harder than I thought it would be to land a role in cybersecurity. I think this is a problem that I hope will change in the future. But a lot of them say you must have at least 3 years entry level roles. You must have at least 3 years experience in industry. You're not allowed to use your university experience. And so that's really tricky. They also ask for certifications, and it's really, really tricky. And I almost lost hope until I got my role. I was very persistent, and I just kept applying. I'm like, I will get a role in cybersecurity. There was many times where I almost gave up, um, and thought I'll just do research or whatever. But I was very lucky to land my current role, where I work as a security analyst, and the role perfectly aligns with what I love. I get to do a lot of work around cybersecurity awareness, which is something that I just absolutely love. I get to do cybersecurity training for the business. And yeah, I'm very lucky to have a job that, again, it doesn't feel like work, because I just thoroughly enjoy it, and I have a great team as well. Um, so alongside that, obviously, I still love my research, and so I'm doing my part-time PhD. I'm still doing cybersecurity awareness, and for me, that's kind of like my passion project. I really enjoy it. I love research, and so I'm doing my current part-time PhD, and I'm also currently starting up my own business as well, which is to do with cybersecurity awareness training. I'm making my own game for children to teach them cybersecurity awareness. And yeah, I've actually just been shortlisted yesterday in the Ingenuity competition as a national finalist. So fingers crossed. But yeah, and I just have to put a final note on here that I have actually just landed the best job of all, which is as a mum, because I have a baby. And yeah, so just to throw that in the mix as well. It's been a busy few years since I finished uni, I will tell you that. But yeah, it's been a really good experience. And if you've just graduated, then just know, just hold in there, like you will find your path. You can get very lost in the time, but you will find it, trust me. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Melissa. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
Actually, these questions have been prepared by Amy McCarthy, our alumni team, and I would be, thankful if you can provide your experience, share your experience and your, let's say, um, expertise in cybersecurity with uh, students looking for a PhD, and even may they look for a master degree, and you can share your experience and expertise in job and doing PhD. Thank you. So let's go through the questions. So could you please share your experience with us? How do you describe your study experience at York St. John University at Computer Science Department? Looking back from, undergraduate and then going for masters, and then now you're doing PhD. So how is your experience with this, journey from undergraduate and now PhD? So please.
Yeah. So I think it's been very different. So for my undergraduate degree, it was very structured. I had lectures to attend, like a weekly timetable, and you have a class and you have a lot of classmates. Um, However, it's very different than in your master's, when you're doing a research degree anyway, because then you don't have any lectures at all. It's completely non-structured. It is up to you how you work. So it's quite a shift going from undergraduate, which is very structured, to then master's, which is or masters by research and with PhD, that are very unstructured, and you can just kind of create your own timetables, as long as you're hitting the deadlines, which can be quite a culture shock. It definitely was quite jarring for me. And I wasn't, it's really hard because no one's really holding you accountable apart from yourself. And so you really need to be quite disciplined with yourself. But one of the things that I found really helped me was setting achievable targets every week. So like by the end of this week, I want to achieve this. By the end of the next week, I'd like to achieve that. That really, really helped me for my master's and my PhD. And then in your undergraduate, it's very much you've got your specific assessments that you're working towards, but setting weekly goals also can really help with that as well.
Great. How your course and the modules that you taken during your studies help you to develop your skills and, prepare you to get a good job and doing your PhD? So could you please explain how?
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like studying computer science really gave me a good holistic knowledge of technology, because it was very broad across all different things, from programming to like web developing within that. And we did a lot of Java work as well. We did networking, we did modules on cybersecurity, we did professional practice, so like preparing and getting them skills ready to get a job. And yeah, so one thing I really like about computer science is it is a very broad subject. And so I had no idea what I wanted to do after university. I just knew that I loved technology, and being able to kind of dabble in every different area of computer science really enabled me to realize that I love cybersecurity, and um, that's where I want to have a career in the future, which I did end up achieving. And I definitely put that down to the skills that I learned throughout university, both in the modules like the cybersecurity module, but also things like the professional practice module, and also networking outside of university as well, to develop some yeah, networking skills and connecting with people can be really valuable as well whilst you're at university.
Brilliant. Good. Uh, what was the, most, let's say, most critical transferable skills that you developed during your studies and doing degree with us? So what could you tell us,
Yeah.
what are the most transferable skills that you developed and you think is needed if someone looking for a degree in computer science? What are them, and how your degree with us helped you to develop?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the biggest things that York St. John really enabled me for is having good social skills. Very much so in terms of being able to communicate your ideas to other people. This is something that when I first started university, I was very daunted at the fact that I was now in university. It's quite scary. And so, I was quite shy and I was quite closed in. However, I really feel as though York St. John enabled me to have the confidence, especially in smaller classes. I could build up my confidence sharing my ideas, which I was able to do in a variety of different modules. There was a lot of team working modules. There was a lot of um, research-based ones where you would kind of sit in a circle and share your ideas. For example, in the dissertation module. So there was lots of opportunities throughout my experience at York St. John um, to build up them kind of communication skills. And I really feel as though that's what helped me get my lecturing roles, but also my role now as a security analyst. It's not just, working fully on technology. Like I deal with a lot of people all day. Helping with security queries, delivering security training. Um, and so I would say, the technical skills are really, really important, but being able to communicate your ideas and communicate that knowledge, I think is something really valuable that a lot of employers will look for.
Absolutely. Okay, what is the single best piece of advice you have been given by somebody during your career journey?
Yeah, I think that the most valuable piece of advice that I've been given is your degree will get you a job interview. Your experience will get you the job. That's something that I was told by one of my lecturers throughout my undergraduate degree, and it is so true. Having your degree is great. That will get you through the front door of HR. You will probably be shortlisted. But being able to talk about what experience you've gained throughout your degree, being able to talk about extra things that you did alongside your degree. For example, I did quite a few research projects, student as researcher projects. Being able to talk about things like that, being a student ambassador, as even a social media ambassador, that's the thing that got me the job. And so it's really true. And I would say make the most of any opportunity that you get whilst at university, even things that you might not think will apply to you in the future. Probably will. A funny story is I was a social media ambassador for I think 3 years, 3 or 4 years at York St. John. And I wrote a lot of blog posts as part of that, mainly because I just love writing and I love sharing different things and communicating with other students. I didn't think that that would actually help me to get my current job. But it just so happens that in my current role, I write a lot of blog posts to keep the company updated about latest cyber attacks in other businesses. I do a cyber story talking about weekly updates, monthly updates. And so, yeah, I never thought that that experience would directly correlate to my current role, but it did. So make the most of opportunities that you're given at university, I would say.
Yeah, wonderful. Uh, Could you tell us what inspired you to pursue a PhD?
Yes. Um,
What inspired you to pursue a PhD? How come up with, you know, a decision to do a PhD?
yeah, definitely. So I feel like the thing that really inspired me to do a PhD is probably doing my dissertation. When I did my dissertation, I knew that I wanted to do a PhD. And I was very tempted to dive straight in and go from my dissertation, from my undergraduate degree straight to a PhD. However, it was recommended that it is quite a different way of learning, a different way of studying. And so it was recommended to do a master's by research, almost to kind of, put your feet in the water, test it out, and see if you like that, way of studying. And I did. I absolutely love the flexibility that research gives you, and it's really, really rewarding doing your own research, writing it up, and being able to, present at conferences and see your research being published. It's something really, really rewarding, and knowing that you're contributing to the world of knowledge. Um, and yeah, my love. My PhD is on cybersecurity awareness, and my love for this started in my dissertation. So I've just been researching different areas. So my undergraduate, I researched elderly people's level of cyber awareness, then teenagers for my master's, and now I'm doing it more in the corporate side of small and medium-sized enterprises, which links as well to my role as a security analyst. That's tied in quite nicely as well. So yeah, I'd definitely say do something that you're really passionate about for your PhD or your master's by research. I think that's the one thing that will keep you going, because it can be quite hard to keep yourself motivated. But yeah, do something you're passionate about and you will make it through.
Great, great. Um, what connection could you make between your research as a PhD student and your work as a security analyst?
Yeah. Um, so I think the connection is definitely cybersecurity awareness. I'm very lucky in that my role as a security analyst does touch a lot of training across the business. And this is something that has inspired me to shift my PhD more into that corporate side of business awareness, security awareness, as opposed to groups of people. Um, so yeah, I would definitely say that connection is there. And they complement each other really nicely because in both I have to do a lot of analysis, even data collection. And I find that I'll be researching something for my PhD and I'll come across a paper or a new questionnaire or something really interesting that I can then use in my work as well. And they just complement each other really nicely. And
Mhm.
with my PhD as well, I have to do a lot of reading. And so it's just really helping to keep my cybersecurity knowledge up to date as well. So yeah, I find that they do complement each other really well.
That's perfect.
Thank you.
Good. And very important question, actually, this is how do you balance your PhD study, your work, and your personal life?
Yeah. So yeah, I think this is something that I've struggled with um quite a lot, probably from when I started my undergraduate degree. Um, and one of the things that I really had to do was have a structure in place. Um, and so like when I was doing my undergraduate degree, sometimes I would study until like 10, 11, sometimes throughout the night. And that really got me to quite a quick burnout. And I just lost a lot of motivation. So one of the things that helped me when doing my undergraduate degree was not doing any work after 6 o'clock. And I feel like having them deadlines as well also makes me work harder throughout the day, because I know that I'm switching off at that time. And kind of similar now. Um, Obviously, it's slightly different because I work full time, and then I have to find time to do my PhD around that. And then also throwing a baby in the mix. I'm working around nap times and when he's asleep. So again, it's I have a structure, but it's a bit more loose now. Um, and I work all day, and then I dedicate maybe an hour every other evening for my PhD, and then I do quite a bit at the weekend as well. And just filling in the gaps. As I say, my PhD is one of my passion projects, and so it's something that doesn't feel like work to me. I just enjoy working on it, and I'll find myself reading a lot of research papers, and I'm like, oh, that could be added to my lit review. Um, so yeah, it's just kind of being able to shuffle things, but scheduling out time, making a to-do list and then scheduling it, I think is the best thing that I've learned over the past several years.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Uh, what advice would you give to someone planning to do a PhD, maybe in cybersecurity, in computer science?
Yeah. Yeah.
Please
Um,
share your experience with us.
Yeah, I would say make sure that you're studying something that you're really passionate about. If you're not passionate about it, then it will be really, really hard for you to have that motivation to continue because you've not got people checking on you every day saying, have you done this work? Have you done that? You really have to motivate yourself. And so your PhD has to be something that you absolutely love because it's over quite a long period of time, especially if you do it part-time. Um, so make sure it's something that you love and also try and keep connected with the community. Try and reach out to other people who are other postgraduate researchers at the university. There's quite a few Facebook groups for postgraduate researchers. Um, there's lots going on conferences. So
Excellent.
just I think keeping connected with the community will really help you as well. Building up your own little kind of support network can be really, really beneficial, especially during times where you don't feel as motivated to be working on your studies. That can really help to pick you through again. So yeah, I think that's my advice.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I would like to back to your skills you developed during your studies. Uh, could you tell me how did your degree in computer science prepare you for your career in security?
Yeah.
And even if you can advise other students what they need to do to be really a good candidate to get a good job in the current market in the UK.
Yeah, definitely. So I think my top advice would be to firstly, if you don't know exactly what you want to do after university, keep an open mind with all of the modules. The good thing about computer science is you kind of get to trial different areas. So I would definitely say keep an open mind, see what you really enjoy, and then what you do enjoy, try and have a look at any other different things that you could do alongside your degree. So could you get a part-time role as a programmer, as like and as a junior programmer, for example, because that's something that I did throughout my undergraduate degrees. I had a few different programming opportunities. Um, there was also the York Code Dojo, which I think is still running. And so that was a really good opportunity to network with people and you do like pair programming. And so you get to work with someone in industry and you get to learn their skills. They teach you and then you can show them if you've learned something that they don't know, and they're just really good evenings. There's lots going on in York actually. .net is another really good group. I'd say if there's something that you particularly enjoy from university, network with people. I think it's meetup.com. It's really good. It will show you all of the different groups that are in your local area. So yeah, network with people, pick their brains, learn about what skills they ask them, would you hire me? Or, what kind of things would you look for in a candidate? And that can help you fill your gaps if you have any gaps in your skill set. So yeah, ask the people in industry what they're looking for. I find that really, really valuable.
That's a good advice. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
What are the core skills, let's say most important skills needed for the current market that you developed and you learned from your research, developed during your studies in computer science at York St. John, and you think it's needed and help you to develop your knowledge further and also help you to get a good job?
Yeah. So I would say that the key skills required, um, I think you've got all of your technical skills that your like degree will cover. I think programming is a really great skill, but at the same time, if you're not great at programming, if you don't enjoy it, don't worry too much because I'm kind of on that side. I'm not like the greatest fan of programming. And computer science, luckily, isn't just programming, and that's something I was worried about. But at the same time, it's a good skill to have if you do like it. I would say learning as much as possible in all different areas. So knowing about networking, knowing about just trying to think of all the modules that I did. Yeah, knowing about networking, knowing about cybersecurity, knowing about research methods, all of the things that you learn throughout your degree can really translate quite nicely into a career. Um, and whilst the technical skills are really important, it's also really important to get them transferable skills. So teamwork, I would say, make the most of any teamwork that you do because you will probably be using them as examples in your job interviews.
Mhm.
And I would also say make the most of any conferences that come up where you get to kind of present your ideas, present your work. That's also really good things that you can talk about in your job interviews. And also, if any problems come up throughout your degree, how you handle them is really, really a good topic to talk about in your any job interviews you might have as well. So if you have problems throughout your degree, don't see them as a negative, see them as a positive on, that's how I handled that situation. Great. Now I've got good experience that I can talk about in a job interview. So yeah, I think your technical skills are important, but also them transferable skills as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank
Uh,
you.
could you tell us what is your favorite about researching and working in cybersecurity?
My favorite thing, I think is just helping people, and knowing that you're
Okay.
contributing to the world of knowledge. I think it's just really nice. It's really rewarding knowing that working in cybersecurity, a lot of cyber attacks can affect people on a personal level and a business level, and they can be really quite detrimental. So knowing that you're contributing to a more secure internet, a more secure business, whatever context it is, I think is really, really valuable. And so, yeah, it's nice to be able to put your skills to good use.
Yeah, what advice would you give a student who's looking to gain work experience in the cybersecurity industry?
Yeah. So I would say networking will be really valuable for this. Try and get some good connections, go to different meetups. Even if you meet someone who's not working in cybersecurity, they will probably know someone who does. So get yourself out there, apply to different things. If there's any local companies, and there's a lot of tech companies in York, message them, just talk to them. I reached out to so many different companies throughout my undergraduate degree. And a lot of them were so happy. Like I was invited into quite a lot of offices because they were just so excited that I reached out to them and I said, could I get some experience? They were more than happy to offer me opportunities to shadow people. And then that is all great stuff you could put on your CV, or they might offer you a job when you graduate as well. So yeah, reach out, don't be shy, like reach out to the companies and the people, and lots of them will be very happy to help you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank
Thank
you.
you.